Our form guru's been dominating the Western Australian Carnival for us on SENTrack is Peter Anthonisz, and he joins us. Pete, hello to you.
Morning to you, Gareth.
First look at that draw. What do you make of it?
Look, it's not ideal, and there does look to be plenty of speed drawn out wide. So for a horse like Overpass, he's really going to have to be able to follow Bravo Centurion across, hope that runner crosses to lead, and then Josh Parr can just sit there in the breeze. And look, to be fair, that's what Overpass has done his last two starts there at Ascot. He's managed to settle outside the leader, not a particularly good speed, but then just angle himself wider in towards the straight and get into those better lanes. So I wouldn't say it's game over for Overpass just because he's got the visitors draw of 16, but he's priced well and truly short enough. And I guess there still has to be a little bit of a query on that last start performance at Flemington.
You heard from Bjorn, he was like he had to go to the Darley Sprint, and I agree with him. After what he did in the Sydney Stakes, he deserved that crack in a big Group 1 worth $3 million down the straight at Flemington. But whether that hurts his chances to win back-to-back Winterbottoms, because we've seen it in the past, he has performed better fresh. So it's 3 weeks in between runs now for him. Whether that's long enough, time will tell. But in the positive corner for an Overpass is that he just grows a leg in WA. His performances have been unbelievable.
Yeah, and he really does go well at the track. I think I've tried to get him beat 3 times now, and he's beaten me all 3 times. So, definition of insanity. But look, it does look a very, very fast tempo drawn out wide with himself, Bravo Centurion. You've got horses like Red Can Man that will go forward from 11. Snowdome probably will try and track them across from 10. You've got Rope Them In drawn 9, who's versatile. And then you've got other horses that will just be able to just sit back and just smoke the pipe a little bit. Look, I think Western Empire drawn 4. He's got 3 horses on the inside of him that will all have similar jumping speed. So Pike should be able to stay off the fence there early. But I also like the draw for Mahaba and 6. I think both of those runners looking for midfield, maybe just worse than midfield, get that good tempo and try and get that angle wide in towards the straight. And look, we didn't necessarily see that on Saturday at the Railway, those horses being able to finish as strong down the outside. The inside lane seemed to be playing a little bit better on that day, but I'm expecting that to change the wider we get out onto the track there on Saturday for Winterbottom Day.
So it sounds like, listening to you, it's going to set up perfectly for Western Empire.
Look, I would expect him to challenge for favouritism. His first up run it put the writing on the wall. It was really good over the last 200 metres. His last 400 was sound. And look, we're trying to track his progress versus what he did say last preparation when he won second up particularly well at Northam over the 1300. Now, 1200 is the bottom end of his range, but with the speed on paper, surely he's going to get enough tempo to be able to get that best asset that he has, and that's his ability to finish off over the last 600, even 800, sustain that really strong run. I have to say that he has to shorten between now and jump time. Overpass will drift to some extent.
We had Alana Williams on Giddy Up there yesterday, and it was great to hear from Alana. We usually hear from Grant, but Alana knows Western Empire better than anyone, and she's had the key to this galloper throughout his career. Now, he's won a Railway Stakes, and I asked Alana, can you compare him, say, to last year, or even when he was at the top of his game winning a Group 1 like a Railway? And she says he's probably got him where she wants him. I think that's great information. And the way that what they learnt from last winter when they just tried to get him out and trip, and Alana said with what he's been through and what he has to deal with, is that he's going to be best when they can just get him spot on. Second up, 1,200 metres for a Winterbottom Stakes. It'll be some, and when she says that, you just got to listen to Alana, because she's just got a wonderful record, along with Grant, when they produce their horses on the big stage. But it's hard it'll be some performance if they can win a Railway Stakes with a horse, then they lose him to some other trainers, and then they get him back and he wins a Winterbottom. It would be an astonishing story, Pete, if they can pull this off.
Especially for a horse that at one point in his career was being touted as a Cox Plate contender. 2021, he was as good as any racehorse in Australia. And yes, he sort of went amiss to a certain degree. I'm not sure he found necessarily the best races and the best setups while he was in Melbourne, but he's back in Perth, and his fresh runs have really just been stamping him as going as good as ever. He's still only 7 years old. He's got plenty of racing left in his arsenal, but they're deliberately keeping him fresh. So he'll have this one start, and if they can manage to knock this one off on the way to a gold rush, that looks even more suitable for him.
Lady Laguna, that's a tough draw for Macca Barrier 1. We saw Valana gets a terrible draw for him a few years back. What do you make of that draw for her?
Yeah, look, I really would want to see how the track is unfolding and playing. Yeah. We're seeing time and time again, the inside is just playing that little bit inferior just there at Ascot. I think with the rail out another couple of metres, that might help to some degree. But Lady Laguna, like, she's still profiling like she wants 1400. I think you have to be maybe a little bit critical of her performances so far this preparation. And I was going back through her career, and she still hasn't won going the opposite way to the Sydney direction. So there's that little query there. Whatever she does, I'll be looking for her in the Gold Rush if she runs well there on Saturday.
I asked Robbie Archibald about that. He doesn't he understands that she's better the Sydney way of going, but he doesn't think that will be the reason why she gets beat come Saturday. The Railway Stakes just quickly, Port Lockroy too good. There was a few unlucky runners behind her, or behind him, and one under Clinton Johnston Porter and for winning his first Group 1. They're going to take on attrition in a Northerly, and also, of course, the WA Guineas winner in Storyville as well in a Northerly. Can you see any of the Railway Stakes horses winning a weight for age 1800 metre race in a few weeks' time?
Look, it is
Group 1. It
is a little bit tricky making an argument for them. You'd want to see some of those horses that had some excuses, and we're talking about horses like Zip Away and I think he's probably the main one who had that interference there in the corner, and the 3 wide line almost collapsed on him. So, I'd want to see him drawn positively. But I think with those railway runners for the most part, we'll get a better price. I think attrition and Storyville are going to be the two that the market gravitates towards over the next week or so.
Who are you backing in the Winterbottom, mate, before we let you go?
Western Empire, and I'll be having him in a few multis as well. If I can find anything earlier in the week, I'll be having the doubles and the trebles.
I love the Pike in the last show there on a Saturday afternoon as well, with you starring live at Ascot, and you can listen to Pete once again each and every Saturday during the carnival. You are a superstar, Pete. Bring on Western Empire. I'll be cheering him home. I think he can finish over the top of them as well. But I'd love to see Overpass do it again in the Winterbottom. But he'll have to work for it. He'll have to earn it from that gate. Good on you, Pete.
Cheers, Gareth.